Hey guys, so today what I want to show you is how to study multiplication and how to use some of the tricks of the trade so that you are successful in your multiplication. And I really also want to show you that when we're done with all of the basic facts that come with tricks, you have succeeded in learning 75 of the 100 facts that you need to know. So we begin with the basic concept of commutative property of multiplication. And what that means is that we're really not concerned about the order of our factors. 6 times 7 and 7 times 6 will both give you the same product, which is the answer, 42. So in 4th grade, we're more concerned with an accurate product. In 3rd grade, you learn about the fact that 6 groups of 7 and that this is 7 groups of 6. Now the other thing is, as you're learning these, focus on one skill at a time. Learn and learn well one entire group of numbers. The next series in this video, I'll talk to you about how to study your multiplication facts. But today I want to focus on the basics. So the very first one is 0. Most students pick this one up very quickly because with 0, any factor times 0 equals 0. So for example, if I say 0 times 9, my answer is 0. No matter what I'm multiplying by, the answer is always 0. With 1s, if you're multiplying any number by 1, when you multiply by 1, the answer is the same as the highest factor. So 1 times 8, well, my two factors are 1 and 8. 8 is my largest factor, so that's my answer. So we really only need to study up through 9s. So with these two right here, 0s and 1s, believe it or not, and this surprised me, that represents 36 of the 100 facts that you need to know. So you're really more than 1/3 of the way through simply remembering that multiplying by 0, your product is 0. Multiply by 1, and the product is the larger factor. It's the same as the largest factor. Now, the next one that I want us to look at are 2s. 2s come with a little bit of a trick, and in math, I always tell students there are lots of roads that get you to the same answer. So if the multiplication side feels like it's a little confusing, for now, look at it as doubles facts, because any number times 2 or 2 times any number, we're doubling the factor. So 2 times 2 is the same as 2 plus 2. 3 times 2 is the same as 3 plus 3. 4 times 2 is the same as 4 plus 4. 5 times 2 is the same as 5 plus 5. So as you multiply doubles facts, there are a couple things that you can do. Or as you use a doubles facts rather, in addition. You can start to see a little bit of a pattern. Any time that I'm multiplying a number times 2, my answer is even. That's one thing that can help me. The other thing is just simply to remember that you can just double the number. That's a 2nd grade skill, and you can apply it in 4th grade. Now 5s, we all learn how to count by 5s early on in math. 5, 10, 15, 20. So if you skip count by 5s, and a lot of students like to just simply keep track on their fingers. If you have 5 times 4, for example, I would say 5, 10, 15, 20. I had 4 5s. So 5 times 4 is 20. And you can apply this all the way up to your 9. There's another little pattern that you can see. When you are multiplying by 5s, your answer in the ones, or rather the digit in the ones place, is always going to be 0 or 5. Now, if you learn 0s, 1s, 2s, and 5s, those are the ones that most students are most comfortable with early on. Of the 100 facts that you need to learn, they represent 64 of them. 2/3 of them are learned just knowing 0, 1, 2, and 5, which I think is kind of cool because it really makes me think, okay, wow, I can do this if I'm learning these. Now 9s have a pattern. This one generally takes a little more practice. So the way this works is I look at the number that is being multiplied by 9. So whether this is 9 times 2 or 2 times 9, I'm looking at the digit that is not the 9. Of course, with the exception to 9 times 9, they're both 9. So I look at the factor, and the first thing I do is subtract 1. So if I'm multiplying 9 times 2, I look at the 2 and I say, what is 1 less than 2? That's 1. Now, the rest of this is the sum of the digits needs to add up to 9. So we're going to have two place values, a tens place and a ones place. Together they have to equal 9. So you can simply count up, or you can think in your head mentally on these. Most students can do this, which is how much more do I need to add to 1 to get 9? And the answer would be 1 plus 8. That's 18, and that's my answer. So as I follow this pattern, I'll do this side, and then I want you to try that side to pause the video. So 9 times 3, I subtract 1 from this factor, and it's 2. Now 2 plus what equals 9? Well, that would be 2 plus 7 more is 9. So my answer is 27, and I'm going to remove these lines to make it a little easier to see. 9 times 4, 1 less than 4 is 3. So again, I reduce this factor by 1, and then I ask myself, how much do I need to add to 3 to equal 9? Well, 3 plus 6. So 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5, 1 less than 5 is 4. Took 1 away from this factor. And then I think, what do I add to 4 that when it's added to 4 equals 9? Well, 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 times 6. I bet already you're thinking, 5, put a 5. You are right. Okay, I take 1 away from 6, that's 5. And I think 5 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 4 equals 9. So now I found my answer of 54. Now I want you to pause the video and try those three. Hopefully you paused the video, and when you came back you said 1 less than 7 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9, so my answer is 63. 1 less than 8 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. So adding those equals 9. My answer is 72. And 9 times 9, well, they're both 9, so I just use this 9. 1 less than 9 is 8. That's a very poor looking 8. Let's try to make that a little nicer. 8 plus 1 is 9. This takes a little practice. What I would encourage you to do is every day write all of these down and do it in order until you're comfortable with subtracting 1 and then making the sum of the digits add up to equal 9. Once you're comfortable with it in a pattern, in order, mix the numbers up, and then I think pretty quickly after that you'll just be able to look at it and you'll know the answer. Now, what I just showed you represents 75 of 100 facts. I want you to see it on a chart, because once we're done, we're actually going to see that there are only 15 remaining facts. So I'm going across and down. I think most people have seen one of these charts, but if you haven't, you can come ask me about it. So any number times 0. I'm using the zeros and going across. 0 times 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Well, we already talked about 0 times any number is always going to be 0. Every one of them. Same here, except now I'm going 0 times all of these. All of these are 0. If you can remember the rule, you just solved 19 of 100 math problems that you have to know. 1 times any number is the greater factor. So 1 times 1, well, they're both 1, so that's 1. 1 times 2 is 2, and so on. Now, I'm going down this way, and now we have again solved of the 100 facts that you need to memorize, we just did 36 of them right there. That's really a big chunk of what you have to learn. Now let's make it more than half. We did doubles facts. We said 2 times 2 is the same as 2 plus 2. These are always even numbers, so double 3s, 3 plus 3, 4 plus 4, 5 plus 5, and so on. They always are even numbers. And once we get through this, we will now look at the chart once again. If you can remember them, 51 facts are done. And I know you guys can do this because almost every one of my students that comes to 4th grade is fully ready to do these 3 sets. Usually they come with 5s too. So we're looking at 5 times 3, and we talked about skip counting by 5s. 3 5s is 5, 10, 15. So we can count by 5s to get our answer. The thing is, you don't ever have to go higher than your 9s to solve any multiplication problem because it always comes down to single digit. So let's go down this way, and again I'm counting by 5s. Now, after I did my 5s, that's 64 facts. Look what's left, just these. And we're going to fill in our 9s. Usually 9s take a little bit more practice. Some of you know the finger trick where you can bend a finger, and if you aren't familiar with that, that's something you can Google and see. It's not something I think I can teach very well in a video. So going across, we talked about the sum of the digits, 1 and 8. Well, 9 times 3, 27. And this, again, you're going to want to practice these. I am just filling in the chart right now to show you that once you are done, you don't have a whole lot left. Now I have to pause and think too, so you're not alone. I had to think about this, 72. Okay, now, once we've done all of these facts, guys, we have 25 facts, but only 15 different products. These don't come with a trick. None of these come with a trick. We simply are going to have to memorize them. There are 5 doubles facts and 10 other facts that when we use the commutative property of multiplication, we find that we can reduce them down to like a total of 10, 20 multiplication equations, 10 facts. So this is where I'm going to stop on this video. Before you try to learn these, I would really suggest that you do it in the order that I showed you. 0s, 1s, 2s, 5s, 9s, and then come back and watch the second video and learn how to study these. These don't come with tricks, but there are ways to learn that really will make you feel success regularly. And this honestly is the most important thing that you need to know in math, not just in 4th and 5th grade, but throughout your math career. I've spoken to many high school teachers, middle school teachers, and of course in our elementary school. And this is the skill that will benefit you the most. So get busy. Come brag to me when you've got one done.